Now what I will do, I can see there are two virtual machines, right? Let me log into the VM01 first. Let me click on Western Europe VM01, and if you directly try to connect, you will see the private IP address. Okay, see, if you go to the networking setting here, let me go there, networking setting, you will see two IP addresses here. One is your 10.0.0.4. If you copy this 10.0.0.4 and go to MSTSC Microsoft Terminal Servers, so if you put your private IP 10.0.0.4, see, I told you, right, when you create a VNet or a subnet, the first three IP address and the last IP address you cannot use. Since I have deployed my very first computer or virtual machine in the subnet 01, you see the IP address which got assigned is 10.0.0.4. So the very first IP which can be usable is 10.0.0.4. Okay, or it can be anything that will start with 4. Okay, fine. Let me try to connect. It is trying to establish the connection. Initiating the remote connection. So the connectivity will not happen, it will throw an error now. The error says three things here. If you clearly read this error, the remote desktop can't connect to the remote computer for one of these reasons, one of these below reasons. Okay, the first one is remote access to this server is not enabled, means maybe the RDP port is disabled. But if you remember, when I built the virtual machine, I have enabled the RDP. That you can check here. See here. You see here, the port number 3389 is allowed. This is incoming port rule. So I have given the priority 300 for the RDP port, and I have allowed the port number, see, 3389, any means it is allowed. So then the first reason is invalid. Okay, then go to the second option. It says the remote computer is turned off. Please check whether the remote computer is turned off. But if I go to overview and see, my virtual machine shows it is running, though the second option is also invalid. The third option, check the remote computer is not, computer is not available on the network, but it's still available in the network because it has got the proper IP address, it is running, and NSG is also allowed. Why it is not allowing me to log in? Because you are there in remote location at your house and you are trying to access the VM which is there in the Western Europe. How will you enable the connection without the internet? Correct, right? So without the internet or without the connection you cannot do that. So that's why instead of login with public IP, private IP, try to log in with public IP. That is the reason I have deployed public IP. What is the relevance of the public IP is, public IP will work in the internet. If you have the internet, it is enough to communicate with the VM. So now instead of the 10.0.0.4 private IP, this IP, what I will do, I will copy this public IP 135.236.64.87. Now go to the same MSTSC wizard. Now paste this IP address and see, now you have the connection, right? Now let me log in. Local administrator. Password, you can enter the password. See, the authentication is done. I am logging into the VM Western Europe VM01. Likewise, I will try to log into the VM02 as well. Okay. What I will do, let me quickly set some wallpaper, otherwise you will get confused. So let me try to log into VM02 as well. Meantime, copy the public IP, go to Microsoft Terminal Server Console, paste the IP address, hit on the enter, then you can enter the password, username and password, local administrator. Password can be entered here. VM02, I'm logging in now. So let me minimize this one and I'll go back to the server. It's still going on, it is still logging in. Now if you look at, I have logged into both the computers. This is my Western Europe VM01. You see the public IP 135.236.64.87. Let me go here and go to the VM02. Okay. And this is my Western Europe VM02. I can even show in the command prompt host name. Host name. See, this is my Western Europe VM02. This is my Western Europe VM02 with this public IP. So now what I wanted to do, I wanted to check what is my private IP address. So if you want to check your IP address, there is a command called ipconfig. So your IP address of VM02 is 172.16.0.4 and your private IP address of your VM01 is ipconfig. If you see, it is 10.0.0.4. Here it is 10.0.0.4, there it is 172.16.0.4. Now let me try to check the connectivity. To check the connectivity, what we will do? We will use a command called ping. Ping, the IP address of the destination server 172.16.0.4, and if I want to continuously ping, you can put -t. So when you put -t, it will keep on pinging. It will not get exit. Okay, you see the request timed out. There is no connectivity now. Let me go to my another computer. Okay, so here let me check ping 10.0.0.4 -t. So I'm unable to ping both from my VM01 and also to my VM02. The pinging is not happening. Correct? Now this is my VM02. So the ping is not happening, right? So now let me check why it is not happening. The first and foremost thing we need to check is the firewall. Okay, let me go to command prompt, one more command prompt, and type firewall.cpl. If I see firewall.cpl, by default it is on. So what I will do, let me turn off, fine. Similarly, I'll go and do it in the other VM as well. I'll go to VM1 now. Open the command prompt, firewall.cpl. Turned on is there, so I'll make it turn off. Fine. But even then, the connectivity is not there. Why the connectivity is not there? I've already told you, by default, no two virtual networks will have the communication. So what I will do now, I will take you to the Azure portal, and there is an option called VNet peering. In order to enable the communication between two virtual networks, we need to enable an option called VNet peering. Okay, so I will take you to the portal and enable it. So for now, I will stop the recording here.